Hi everyone, I'm Sunny and I have a celebrity crush reading for you guys today, and I'm trying to think of how I would reword this, but it's more or less this is going to be a specific field where it's like I'm gonna say it's like a creative, I would say creative media celebrity crush, right? So when I say this, I mean like people who are more into like the art world. I'm not sure how I would describe this when I type it, but people who are like illustrators or um, people who are working in like animation or video games, or people who are there's probably better, but you get the niche I'm trying to go for. It's like, yeah, I guess the best way to say is animation, right? Like like people who also do like maybe also cartoonists, but you get the gist of where I'm going at. It's that kind of creative field. So I'm just gonna leave it as your creative celebrity crush. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna start with the first pile. So in case you need more time, stop the video. Otherwise, I'll start with the first pile and then go to your time step. I'm sorry. I'm totally messing up now that I'm trying to think of the specific like niche, but oh well. So how would they be, by the way? That's more or less the question. So for the first pile, your creative celebrity crush, and how would they be? You have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So I think this person is someone who likes to keep to themselves. I don't think they enjoy receiving so much like attention. Um, in the sense where I think they just kind of, I think they're the kind of person who likes to just do their work because they love it, um, and that's it. And they enjoy receiving, the benefits of a good salary, but it does feel like they're not the kind of person who likes to do that often, of being like public, or at least if they do, it's only when they have something really fun and exciting they want to share, because they want to have that enthusiastic feel from their audience back. It just feels like that. So it does feel like there's someone that is probably working very hard and diligent right now, but they're kind of keeping that to themselves. So they don't really show people what they're working on. I think they're more, which I totally get. I think it's understandable when you feel like people might covet what you're working on, or they might copy things, which is understandable. There's things that you understand as to why someone cannot be so public when it comes to what they work with, because it can backfire, and then it can be spoiled, and then they might have to work even harder to come up with a different idea. It's things like that. So they do keep that to themselves. Like their projects and their work life is kind of like, it almost feels like they do NDA kind of stuff. Is it NDAs, right? Or they sign and they basically say like, no, like you can't talk about it, stuff like that, contracts. But it does feel like for someone that works diligently, there's someone who has probably been around this field for quite some time. They're not new to this, so it does feel like they have some years to their expertise in here. They might have, it does feel like maybe they're in their 30s, 40s. Maybe younger and older, but that's more or less the age I'm getting when it comes to someone that's a little bit more mature, but still not like out of touch within the people they connect with, because they enjoy this. So they more or less know their audience. They really get to know their audience from where they're working at when it comes to this Knight. With this Knight, I also feel like there's someone who might be a little bit more introverted as well. So maybe they just like maybe they could be socially awkward as well. They don't have the social skills to be interacting with people the way you think they do, because you think usually that because you have creative fields, you would make the most interesting talks, but sometimes you're just not. It's understandable why I feel that my communication is terrible too. Um, I understand why communication cannot be their forte, because sometimes they're so like tunnel vision when it comes to their things. It's like, I don't have time to socialize, I'm not thinking about it. But if they do, it's like, oh, okay, is this genuine? Like, I think they might have a harder time deciphering whether people actually like them for who they are than for what they give to their public, right? what they want to hear and see. So maybe that's the reason why they have a little bit more trouble with that communication part, because they just kind of don't know whether they actually like them because they're fun as a person, or they're fun because they're have a unique job, a unique creative job, or a unique set of things that people are interested in the same. Like when you share sometimes the same hobbies and stuff, do you really like the person, or you just like the person that they are because they share the same thoughts or something like that? I think you're trying. I'm not describing that very well. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna shut up. But I think you understand where I'm going at. That maybe they might not be the best at that. They're also someone who could also. I mean, there's a slight chance also that they could be a little irresponsible, because pentacle reverse is that they could also be someone who, aside from introverted and someone who's also keeping their secrets to themselves, they can be irresponsible maybe with dates when it comes to deadlines, or they can do things sloppily rather than taking their time. That could be too sometimes their personality, that they don't do things how they should be doing it, because they know how their potential could be, but somehow they kind of just have a double S ed. No, there's no ed at the end. It's not plural. I always mess up. But you get what I'm trying to say, is that sometimes they are not very responsible when it comes to their deadlines, or they do, I feel like this person kind of just wings it last minute because they procrastinate. They could be procrastinators. That's what I'm getting at. They could be procrastinators in their field, and they could also be messy. There you go. They could be messy with their panels. They could be messy with whatever their creative field is. It just feels like they're messy with how they display things. That's what it's giving me, and that's why they take more time to be in. They need that time privately to kind of fix that, because they don't want people to see that they're really disorganized or really not unprofessional. But it just feels like there's someone. It feels like when you're in school, that's what it gives me. That person. I mean, I think I was that person too. At some point everybody does this, but there's always a certain class or something that you kind of just leave things till the very end to finish, and you do it, but it could have been better, So it feels like that. So I hope that was good message you wanted to hear. Next, I have pile number 2. You guys have the 10 of Cups upright. So pile number 2, your celebrity crush is someone who feels like they have everything that they wanted. I think it's very likely. Let me just center. I'm just going to center these. It feels like they're the kind of person that your creative celebrity crush is someone who is established already. So I think they are married, and they could have kids, or they have kids on the way. But it does feel like they have a family unit. Maybe they have a dog and a cat, or maybe they live on a farm. But it feels like there's someone that, the reason why I say that is because of I think there's a little house in the back. There's a little house in the back. I think it's this little red house, right there. But it does feel like there's someone that's kind of established already. They're very happy with what they're doing. So I'm hoping every person that's in a creative field does this, where they feel like they have everything. But unfortunately, not everybody does. It must have taken them quite some time to get them to this place. I think it was a lot of dedication and sacrifice for them in order for them to get this happy ending that they wanted. So I do think their work is more viable right now, or their work is something that they enjoy, because they put it's like their fruits of labors, or they're, even at this, if they don't have a family, it does feel like their work is their baby, their spouse, their everything. So they pour their heart into this. So maybe if they did this, if they established their own company, for example, and they were if they made I don't want to say big name companies, but let's say Pixar, let's say they did Pixar, but that's still, I think that's still Disney, right? Well, let's say that. Let's say it's Pixar. They made Pixar, uh, and or they just came into acquisition of it. They remodeled it to what they thought would be the best plan of action for a successful business, or they started from the ground and they learned to maintain it and nurture it and make it grow and get good artists that really wanted to. I think everybody is a good artist. It's just a matter of where is your heart, right? Like, is your heart just solely on the fact that you want to win money? Are you a businessy kind of artist, or the kind of artist who gets basically used because they're good, but they don't. They're not really driven by money, so that's why sometimes they get one over them, right? But it's examples like that. So I just feel like they really took their dedication. They took their time to really focus on who is in it for the right reasons, how to make it grow, how to see how they can improve, right? So I just feel like they're that kind of person. But yeah, it does feel like there's someone who's a bit of a family person, family guy, family girl. I do feel that. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my head, my leg. It does feel like there's the kind of person who I think you can talk to them. So like, if they're not in a relationship, they're the kind of person who you can talk to, and they make you feel at home. It just feels like this person is so nurturing and so kind and considerate, that they don't make you feel like you're out of place, or that you're an outsider, or that you get this slight hint that they could be kind of like a two-faced person. No, like, it just feels like what you see is what you get. This person is very welcoming, very open, nurturing, very watery. So yeah, very creative. This person's very creative. So this person could have strong Scorpio or Cancer or Pisces. Well, more than likely, most people always like say, oh, creative people are typically like Pisces, but there's every sign can be creative, but that's what I get. Cup energies, these watery signs. And it does feel like this person is stable. It's a very stable person, emotionally stable too. So it doesn't feel like this person's gonna be the kind of person who's messy, or has like a messy love life, or messy like even if they did come from like a messy home unit, they didn't necessarily outgrow it, but they got to themselves in a much healthier environment, right? I think this person is likely very happy. I just feel this person's very content with where they're at. And it has a lot to do with because they follow. It feels like this person, I feel like this is like the Disney slogan. It's like, follow your dreams, they can come true. And this person did exactly that. It's like, I followed my dreams, I followed my heart, and it led me to my 10 of Cups. Something that they always wanted and cherished, and they continue to treasure for all that they have, right? But it does feel like this person's very happy. And this feels like this person's kind of not an outdoorsy person, but someone who enjoys they like their space. So it feels like like they have that, maybe they live like in a barn in a random place, or like they moved to those locations, or maybe they live in the wilderness, or they can kind of travel. Maybe they can work and they travel. What are they called? Remote workers. There you go. They're remote workers, and they can basically work wherever they are in any part of the world. So it does feel like there's someone who's very happy, and that's the kind of person they are. They're not putting up a facade. They're very happy right now. I think they put all their creative projects are on display for some reason. I feel like they have things out there that have been coming out, and people are receiving it with open arms, and they feel very ecstatic. It also feels like they're full of life. I think they just maybe even got married, or they might have just gotten additional members in the family, like kiddos or fur babies. So it feels like someone that has a lot of things to feel joy for. So that's the kind of person they are. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Next, I have pile number 3. So pile number 3, I think I took longer than I wanted with these. You guys have the Page of Cups, so your celebrity creative artist crush is a very charming person. I think this person that you are considering is someone who's eccentric when it comes to. I always think the pages are funny looking. I don't know why, but on this deck, I feel that there's an eccentricity to them, but it's not. It's like flamboyant. There you go. Not eccentricity like Aquarian. It just feels like eccentricity, flamboyant, like a Leo for some reason. I think of that. Someone who I think of Willy Wonka, but Willy Wonka's not like an animator, illustrator, or someone doing video games. But it's like that. Maybe they like dress in like steampunk, or they like Victorian clothing, or they have their own unique dressing, or maybe they just dress vintage. It feels to me like they dress vintagey when I think of the Page of Cups. But this person dresses according to their mood probably, but I do feel there's someone that's colorful, vibrant. So even if they don't have to wear like these vibrant yellows and pinks like this character, but it does feel like this person dresses for their mood. So if they're feeling dark and moody, they're gonna be gloomy for the day. It feels like, I think of like, what's that movie that I really enjoy that I forgot? And every time I watch it, I just think how beautiful the costumes look. It's is it not Twin Peaks? Is it Twin Peaks? Is it Twin Peaks? No, it's Red. Is it? I don't want to say it's Red Peaks. It's with Tom Hiddleston. And he's playing the guy who marries the girl from Alice in Wonderland. I forgot her name. Oh my god. But you might know the story better. I forgot the title of the movie. But it's beautiful. It's so, even though it's funny and ironic that they don't live anywhere close to people, they still dress, like they're in the city. Yes, they dress Victorian and stuff, but Gothic, but it's still ironic. Well, it's ironic to me that they're in the big house, living alone in the middle of nowhere, right? With their red minds. I feel like I have the title and it just keeps slipping. But yeah, it does feel like they dress like that from time to time, or they dress dapper. It's very unique, and even if it's a female, it feels like they dress cutesy. That's what it feels like. So maybe they're like the kind of person who ends up dressing, what are they, what's that word? I just had it. Cottagecore, there you go. I wanted to say encore. Cottagecore, for example. They can dress like that. So it feels like they're the kind of person who, their outfits are something that express their emotions, and it's also a way they creatively express themselves because it's an outlet as well as their career. It's like they use every mode of outlets that they can to express themselves. Maybe even makeup. Even if they wear makeup, it's unique and vibrant, or it's moody and dreamy. It's something that they always have add-ons, accessories as well. Same with hairstyles. It's like they could add on, and it doesn't look like it's too much. It fits with their character. It fits with their persona, and that's why it's very. It's like marrying who they are. Like they marry all sides of them into them. But yeah, I do think their work is an extension of how they express themselves, and people like them. It does feel like this person's kind of youthful. They're vibrant, so they are in touch with like a younger audience. So maybe that's why you could be fascinated by them, because they tend to really show and embrace the side of them. They don't feel like they need to grow up. It does feel like they're a kid at heart. So they feel like they do like to embrace the kid they have within, or their inner child. I think they nurture that very well. And likely, it does feel like they could, I think they're open to receiving, I think their admiration. They show their admiration for people. I think they're like interested in maybe dating. They're a little bit quirky, I do feel, but I think they're interesting to talk to, and they're kind of mingling among men and women, or both. But it does feel like they're happy where they're at. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. But yeah, I do think they're someone that's emotional. And they allow their emotional self to kind of drive them with their creativity, and that's why they're interesting people, and that's why they attract an audience. I feel like they're the kind of person you would meet at Comic Cons, or they're the kind of person who starts describing, you know how sometimes they do videos of people in their work fields, their very unique work fields, and they describe what they do. That's the kind of person they would be. They're the person who's like not a spokesman, but they like to. They're not scared of being out there. They're not scared of being in the public eye. They're not scared of judgment. They're free. They're free of judgment. They are who they are, and they embrace it. So, interesting. That's how they are. I don't think you're seeing a different persona. I think who you see is who they actually are too. They're not portraying anything. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for sticking by to the very end. And I'll see you in a different video. And bye-bye, everybody. So, have a good day.